From providing the first ever look at the Cord Industries in a DC movie to showcasing some truly iconic Blue Beetle costumes from the comics, there are tons of little Easter eggs and nods in the Blue Beetle trailer that you may have missed. For starters, the film is breaking a superhero rule seen in a lot of other DC films. You know that old superhero trope where a guy gets superpowers and has to keep it a secret from everyone. Well, Blue Beetle is turning that on its head. Jaime Reyes, our lucky hero, doesn't have to keep his powers a secret from his family because they're right there when he gets them. That's right, no need for secret identities here, folks. In fact, it looks like Jaime's whole family is going to be a big part of the film, which is pretty exciting if you ask me. It seems like the movie is going to be taking a different route from some other DC movies, which is probably a good thing. After all, I think most fans are somewhat tired of seeing the secretive superhero cliche by this point, right? I mean, Clark Kent is not fooling anyone with that pair of glasses. He's clearly Superman. But wait, there's more. The trailer has plenty of other juicy details that are sure to get you hyped. Like the fact that the trailer gave fans their first ever look at Cord Industries on the big screen. For those who may not know, Cord Industries is the company behind the Blue Beetle. This company is a heavyweight in the DC universe, right up there with Wayne Enterprises and LexCorp. So you can imagine the excitement when fans saw that Cord Industries was going to make its big screen debut. Now, if you're a comic book fan, you'll know that Ted Kord is the second Blue Beetle.
And I would love to do that, but now is not a good time.
Is someone there with you?
No one you know. I gotta run. I'll call you later.
Taking up the mantle after being trained by Dan Garrett. Although it's unclear whether we'll see him in the movie, it's pretty obvious that the movie will make use of the connection Cord Industries has to the Blue Beetle, especially now that Jaime has gotten the superpower, which means he's in possession of the Blue Beetle. And it's safe to say that Cord Industries isn't too happy about it. They want their tech back, and they're not afraid to go after Jaime to get it. But that's not all. As I mentioned earlier, Jaime's entire family is going to play a big role in the film. So not only does he have to worry about Cord Industries breathing down his neck, but he's also got to keep his loved ones safe. Talk about added pressure. That said, there's another unique DC Universe Easter egg in this movie, and that's the villain Victoria Kord. If you haven't heard already, the upcoming Blue Beetle movie is going to be loosely based on the recent comic book series Graduation Day, and let me tell you, it's going to be a wild ride. One of the most interesting things about the comic book is the introduction of Victoria, Ted Kord's sister. Now, we don't want to spoil too much, but let's just say she's not exactly what she seems. And in the new movie trailer, we get a glimpse of her, and it looks like she's going to be a major villain. It's clear that Cord Industries will do whatever it can to retrieve the Blue Beetle. I'm talking high-tech gadgets, secret weapons, and who knows what else. Jaime better watch his back, because Victoria and her cronies are coming for him. But let's not forget about the Scarab itself. In the comic book, it's revealed that the Scarab has a mind of its own, and it's not always on Jaime's side. I can only imagine the kind of trouble it will cause in the movie. In fact, this sentient may be a reference to another DC project, and that's Young Justice. That's right, in Season 2, Jaime Reyes was one of the characters.
It was just laughing at you.
Yeah, well, butt out, Bug. Keep that thing on a leash, man.
I told you, don't annoy it.
And the Reach served as the antagonists. Now, the Blue Beetle trailer seems to be taking a cue from this storyline.
If you don't know, I can't explain it. Let's just get out of here before someone spots us.
As the Scarab is once again playing a pivotal role in the story. One of the coolest things about Young Justice's Blue Beetle was that the Scarab was sentient and could communicate with Jaime.
The impulse has created nothing, and its premise is faulty. Tactical destruction is more effective than creation.
Ta-da, what exactly?
And from the looks of it, the movie is going to do the same thing. The Scarab will have its own voice, which is a departure from the show where both Jaime and the Scarab had the same voice.
Well, yawn. Really? That's the best you could do? No.
It's almost like an AI machine that can do whatever Jaime asks it to. But of course, I imagine it's going to take a bit of time before he can learn to use it properly. And that might just be the most fun part of the whole film, because I can already imagine all the chaos that Jaime's going to run into while learning how to use the Blue Beetle. That said, while Jaime may be new to the whole thing, the comics have had the superhero for decades.
Yeah, I asked that too. Captain Atom said the League doesn't want or need a public shrine to its fallen. But I don't know. Seems to me they just don't want to advertise we're not immortal.
I mean, the new trailer even referenced some of the older Blue Beetle costumes. Turns out that the Blue Beetle movie will include some nods to the original design of the superhero from way back in 1939. Yeah, that's right, 1939. That's so long ago, even your grandparents weren't born yet.
Whoa.
Impulse by impulse. Is that Crash or what?
Crash. Totally Crash.
So, the Blue Beetle was first introduced in the Mystery Men Comics series, but it wasn't until 1986's Secret Origins Volume 2 that the character officially joined the DC Comics universe.
Your concern for this tie is trivial. Our armor is intended for greater purpose.
I'm trying to stop a friend from making a massive mistake. What greater purpose is there?
And in this new version, Dan Garrett took on the role of the superhero and sported a red and blue costume that was truly iconic. And guess what? You can actually spot that classic costume in the Blue Beetle trailer. It's a small moment, but it's enough to get longtime fans excited about the movie. Who knows? It could just be a nod to the original comic book character, or it could be a major part of the film. Only time will tell.
It's the scarab. The thing stuck to my spine that gives me the armor, the powers.
Scan the hall? Ugly may be about to launch an attack against whoever's inside, and it's shielded from my infrared vision.
Scan complete.
Interestingly, that's not even the only costume that was shown. Yep, there's a glimpse of the Ted Kord Blue Beetle costume in there too. Ted Kord is a genius inventor and businessman.
Booster? Hey, bro. Gah! Bats! Booster! Together! Wow, well, this is great. This is just awesome.
Kind of like Bruce Wayne, but with gadgets instead of bats. And yeah, he wore a Blue Beetle costume, but he didn't have any powers, so he was more like a super detective, or maybe a really fancy cosplayer. Now, here's the thing. We don't know for sure if Ted Kord will actually show up in the movie, but the fact that his costume is in the trailer is a good sign, right? It means that the filmmakers are paying attention to the source material and trying to include as much as they can. Plus the fact that Ted Kord's Blue Beetle is closer to Batman than to Jaime Reyes' powers is just too perfect. Could we get a Batman and Blue Beetle team up? Well, it seems that may be likelier than you think. After all, Batman was even mentioned in the trailer. Jaime's Uncle Rudy called Batman a fascist, which means that Batman is part of the DC universe in which Blue Beetle takes place. But it's unclear which Batman he was referring to. Is it Affleck's Batman? Pattinson's? Or maybe it's a new Batman that James has planned for his upcoming The Brave and the Bold movie. Fans will have to wait and see where this movie fits in the DC canon. But hey, who doesn't love a good mystery? It just makes the anticipation even more exciting. Or it could just be a little joke that the writers decided to add in, without really wondering what the longer consequences of it would be. Hey, this is DC after all. But those are just some of the biggest DC Universe Easter eggs in the Blue Beetle trailer.